What if I told you that in a real estate negotiation, both the buyer and the seller often believe that the broker is working for them? And strangely enough, both may be right. But what if neither side sees the entire picture? Today we're going to explore one of the most fascinating psychological dynamics in property negotiations, the double game. Welcome to the hidden psychology of property deals. I'm Yannis Kallieris. For more than 25 years, I've observed negotiations, transactions, buyers, sellers, brokers, and investors. And throughout those years, I discovered something surprising. Most costly mistakes in real estate are not caused by a lack of information. They are caused by the psychology surrounding information. In this series, we'll explore the invisible forces that influence decisions, shape negotiations, and determine outcomes. Today's chapter is called The Double Game. I still remember a negotiation from many years ago. The seller was absolutely convinced that the broker was protecting his interests. A few hours later, I spoke with the buyer. He was equally convinced that the very same broker was working for him. Both trusted him. Both believed they had someone on their side. And both were making important decisions based on that belief. At first, that seemed impossible. How could two intelligent people walk away from the same conversation with two completely different perceptions? The more I observe these situations, the more I realize that negotiations are rarely about facts alone. They are about interpretation, they are about timing, they are about emotion, and most importantly, they are about perception. When I first entered the real estate world, I believed negotiations were simple. The seller wanted the highest possible price, the buyer wanted to pay as little as possible, and the broker simply helped the two sides reach an agreement. It sounded logical, it sounded fair, but reality turned out to be much more complicated, because somewhere between information and interpretation, another game begins. The double game. During my early years in real estate, when I was looking to purchase my first professional property, I contacted a local broker and explained exactly what I was searching for and within what budget. He was extremely friendly, and I genuinely considered him my ally. In fact, he eventually found a property that matched exactly what I wanted. As time passed, I also got to know the seller, one of the most respectable people I have ever met. Sometime later, we discussed the transaction between us. That was when he also praised the broker who had handled the deal, referring to him as his man and a close friend. Ironically, I would have used exactly the same description myself, but at that moment, after comparing my notes with everything the seller told me, I realized something very simple about the role of brokers, something that years of experience later confirmed repeatedly. In most real estate transactions, everyone believes the broker is on their side. Usually that means he is standing exactly in the middle. Let me explain. The seller believes the broker is trying to increase the price. The buyer believes the same broker is trying to secure a better deal for him. And somewhere between these two completely different narratives lies the true priority of the market: to complete the transaction. This is the great misunderstanding of real estate negotiations. Most people believe brokers are paid to protect their interests. In reality, in most cases, brokers are paid when disagreement between both sides finally disappears. Their commission is not created by achieving the best possible price. It is created by closing the distance between two positions, and that changes everything. To the seller, the broker usually says, "The market cannot support that price." People are afraid right now. If we lower it slightly, it will close immediately. To the buyer, the message is often completely different. "I've kept this property available for you." the owner is under pressure. If you move quickly, you'll get it below market price. Both sides feel someone is working in their favor. In reality, someone is working in favor of convergence. The interesting part is that the double game often does not even require deliberate lies. Selective information is enough, a small amount of pressure here, a little uncertainty there, a sense of urgency in both directions. The seller starts fearing he may lose the only serious buyer. The buyer starts fearing he may lose the opportunity. And fear is always a faster negotiator than logic. At that point, one of the most dangerous phrases in real estate usually appears. I'm telling you this for your own good. Most of the time, this means the negotiation has entered its final pressure phase. The seller, after months of waiting, begins to grow tired. Every week without a deal begins to grow tired. Every week without a deal starts feeling like failure. Every new price reduction is presented as a realistic adjustment. And somewhere along the way, something strange begins to happen. People stop pursuing a good deal and start pursuing relief. They simply want the process to end. And that is exactly where the intermediary gains maximum power. Law of the double narrative. When two sides hear different versions of the same reality, a third party already controls the negotiation. Brokerage. Convergence equation. Probability of agreement equals seller fear plus buyer fear divided by time to think. In simple terms, the greater the psychological pressure on both sides, and the less time they are given to think clearly, the more likely they are to accept a deal they would have considered unacceptable only weeks earlier. The paradox is that almost everyone leaves these agreements believing they somehow won. The seller feels victorious because he finally sold the property. The buyer feels victorious because he reduced the price, and the broker feels victorious because the transaction was completed. Only later, if the buyer and seller ever speak honestly with each other, do they realize something important. The greatest power in the negotiation was neither the money nor the property itself. It was the control of psychology and time. Because in real estate, the person who controls the narrative usually controls the outcome. So what does this mean for you? Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, there are three important lessons to remember. First, always ask yourself who represents whom. Assumptions can be expensive. Second, try to separate facts from interpretation. Sometimes the information itself is accurate, but the way it is presented changes everything. Third, whenever you feel pressure to make a quick decision, slow down. Urgency is one of the most powerful psychological tools in any negotiation. And fear often moves faster than logic. Perhaps the biggest lesson from the double game extends far beyond real estate. It applies to business, it applies to negotiations, and sometimes it applies to everyday life, because whenever two people receive different versions of the same reality, someone else is shaping the narrative. And the person controlling the narrative often controls the outcome. That doesn't necessarily require deception. Sometimes all it takes is selective information, carefully timed pressure, and not enough time for reflection. The next time you enter an important negotiation, ask yourself one simple question. Am I making a decision based on reality or on the version of reality I have been given? That question alone may save you money, it may save you stress, and sometimes it may save an entire deal. In the next episode, we'll explore another hidden mechanism of the property market, the phantom listing, a phenomenon where a property can become a marketing tool, even when selling it was never the real objective. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. New chapters and new psychological insights from the world of real estate are coming soon. And if you know someone buying, selling, or investing in property, share this video with them. It may save them from an expensive mistake. I'm Yannis Kallieris. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next chapter of The Hidden Psychology of Property Deals.